Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in this video, I'm explaining why you will never understand Tesla unless you understand these things. And I'm going to be honest guys, 99.99%+ of the people watching this video will never do the work or take the time to fully understand everything I discussed in this video, and therefore as a consequence will never actually understand Tesla and by extension Tesla stock. Now I'm not here to rain on your parade. I'm just trying to be as honest as I possibly can. So in this video, I'll be explaining what I believe to be the most important things to understand to give you the right perspectives to look at Tesla and actually understand what the company is and what their future looks like. I don't expect many people will actually go and do the work, and that is totally fine. There are very few people on planet Earth today who I believe truly understand Tesla at an intimate and comprehensive level. There's a common thread between each of these individuals. They all, at some level, understand every element I'll be discussing in this video, and that gives them the insight, the foresight, and the perspective to see where Tesla is heading, not just tomorrow, not just next week, next year, but in the next decade or two. And this is what really matters. So with that said, let's get into the video. If you love crypto, stocks, and free stuff, or just want to help out the channel, check out these great offers. BlockFi are launching the world's first Bitcoin rewards credit card. People in the US can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase with no annual fee using the BlockFi Bitcoin rewards credit card. Check out the link in the description. And for a limited time, you can get up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $300 just for opening an account. And if you make an initial deposit of $5 or more, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $2,000. Seriously. Free stocks? Yes, please. And finally, if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Let's get back to it. So let me ask the question, why even bother trying to really understand Tesla? Who cares? What's the point? What value does it add? The way I would answer this question is as follows. If you believe, and only if you believe, that Tesla is a once-in-a-generation company, a company like no other before, with the potential to disrupt trillions of dollars of industry, to change the way that we go about our daily lives, and in addition to that, you also have financial resources and are considering or have already invested in this company, aka you own Tesla stock, or in the future are considering purchasing Tesla stock, it's well worth knowing. As I've talked about in the past, in my opinion, diversification is for idiots. Most investors are idiots, and therefore diversification for most investors is a great idea. However, if you're of the same mindset as me and would rather make very few investment decisions, but when you do, really swing for the fences, then I think it's in your best interest to do everything you possibly can to understand any company that you believe is one of these huge generational opportunities. A comprehensive understanding of a company like Tesla and every aspect of their business is going to allow you as an investor to make better long-term investing decisions. Literally 100% of the people who panic sold Tesla stock during the March 2020 crash didn't understand the company. In fact, literally 100% of the people who've ever sold any Tesla stock ever, unless in case of emergency or it was originally part of their plan, also did not understand the company. Now I know this is an exceedingly arrogant thing to say, but here's how you'll know I'm right. Find anyone, ask anyone in 2031 who sold Tesla stock any time before that period, who could have held the entire time over the next decade as Tesla stock 10x's or more, mark my words. Do you regret selling your Tesla stock? Guess what they're going to say? Yes, I do. I wish I'd taken a loan. I wish I hadn't panicked. I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. I wish I had known this. I wish I had known that. Now, like I said, if it was originally part of their plan to sell Tesla stock, it doesn't count. If you've got a plan, you invest in an asset and you say, you know what, at some point in time when I get this result, I'm going to sell this. I'm going to deploy the capital elsewhere. There's a better opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't count. But for everyone else who arbitrarily sold their Tesla stock thinking, I got a great return, time to buy something else now, can't possibly go up any more than it already has, can't possibly 10x again. These are the people who will wallow in regret. All of these people who arbitrarily sold or sell Tesla stock anytime over the next 10 years without it being part of their plan, without an emergency, are all people who do not know the following things. Number 1, Tesla's plan. Now I know what you're thinking, dude, are you serious? Like that's it? That's your first point. No Tesla's plan. Congratulations, you're a genius. But this is actually worth taking the time to understand. Tesla's mission statement, after all, is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. If you actually take the time to let this sink in, look at it from different angles and try to understand what this means, you can find a direct correlation between Tesla's mission statement and everything the company does. That includes open sourcing their patents in 2014. That includes making the world's most compelling vehicles, so you would literally, as a consumer, need to be a moron not to buy a Tesla when the other options, internal combustion engine vehicles, can't match anything meaningful in terms of performance, features, functionality, etc. The reason that Tesla has the best products in every category, period, this is an inarguable point, is because that's the only way to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. It created a forcing function for other automakers to go, oh shit, we can't make a car that performs that well if it's internal combustion, therefore we're going to have to go electric as well. That's why we're seeing all of these companies now, billions and billions and billions of dollars of investment, everyone accelerating and bringing forward their plans to transition to EVs. Tesla did what they said they were going to do. And this is an important point. Tesla always does what they say they're going to do. You would be astonished at the number of investors, including most of you watching, who've never read Tesla's original 2006 master plan, nor their master plan part 2. These are worth knowing, especially as a Tesla investor. Tesla explicitly lays out their plans. The reason that I was able to make videos 12, 18 plus months ago predicting that Tesla was going to produce a van and a compact car in the future, which by the way, haven't been officially announced, but I'm telling you guys now they will, was because their master plan explicitly stated that they were going to produce vehicles in every major form of terrestrial transport. This is obvious. Of course, many people in the marketplace today still don't even realize these are in the works. I know we're starting with a really simple point, but it's so important. Listen to what Tesla says they're going to do, and also infer what that might mean. A very simple message, a very simple point can contain a huge wealth of information if you just take the time to really think through the implications. Number 2, physics. I'm just going to come right out and say it, guys. If you do not have a comprehensive understanding of physics, and no, you don't really need to know the nuances of gluons, leptons, quarks, etc. But if you don't have a basic understanding of physics, the way the universe works, the way matter interacts, if you do not have a physics understanding and a framework for looking at the world, you will never, ever understand Tesla. You might understand elements of the company, but you will never be able to understand the company as well as somebody who has a physics framework, a first principles way of thinking about and understanding the world. You know Elon Musk has a degree in physics, right? This kind of matters. The reason that Tesla is able to do things that no other companies are able to do is because of this physics framework, this first principles thinking. As we know, physics is the law. Everything else is a recommendation. When Elon Musk is approaching a problem, when Tesla are approaching a problem, they're starting with first principles down at the atoms. Okay, what are the theoretical limitations here? What's theoretically possible within the laws of physics? Okay, let's get towards that. Today we're here, but we know in the future we can get down to here. Why is it that Tesla now has the fastest production car ever produced? Physics thinking. Why is it that Elon Musk had the testicular fortitude to, at the time in 2014, announce a factory, the Gigafactory, which itself would produce more lithium-ion batteries than the current global output at the time, when everyone else thought this was completely insane? Physics thinking. Why is it that Tesla is the first company on the planet to use a gigantic casting machine of the scale that they're using to produce huge single cast pieces for use in their vehicles? Why is it that Tesla was able to do cutting edge material science to invent a new material to actually go into this gigantic casting machine? That's right, physics thinking. If you understand physics and have a first principles framework through which to look at the world, you can approach problems and look through the same lens that Elon and Tesla do. And I know most people don't give a flying fuck about physics, and that's why most people will never truly understand Tesla. For those of you interested in the subject, a great starting place will be Richard Feynman. He's a brilliant teacher, able to distill very complicated physics problems and ideas and concepts into really simple terms. There's some great interviews online, and of course, if you want to go a little bit deeper, a lot of his lectures are also available. The primary reason for Tesla's unassailable lead today is physics thinking. Rather than reasoning by analogy, as every other automaker on the planet did, failing to see the potential for electric vehicles, failing to look at the numbers, failing to use first principles and go down to the atoms and work their way up, every other automaker on Earth reasoned by analogy. Electric vehicles are slow, expensive, and don't have much range today. Therefore, they're going to stay that way in the future. Physics thinking is a primary reason for Tesla's dominance today and why their lead is now literally unassailable. Number 3, Elon. Should go without saying, but in order to understand one of the world's most unique companies, you must understand one of the world's most unique and brilliant human beings, Elon Musk. This is probably the most bang for buck you're going to get in terms of understanding Tesla, spending the time to listen to every single interview Elon Musk has ever given. Not just about Tesla, every interview he's ever given, period. Then also read the Ashley Vance biography. Then also Eric Berger's book on SpaceX. And that also includes fishing for the written interviews that have never been recorded, podcasts, everything Elon Musk has ever publicly said. You should consume it if, of course, you actually want to understand Tesla. Let me ask you guys a question. What's a common thread between the basement-dwelling, self-hating adult virgins of Tesla Q who short Tesla stock and think Elon Musk is a fraud and the company's going bankrupt? I'll tell you the common thread. None of them actually understand Elon. Many of them think they do, projecting their own insecurities, shortcomings and darkness onto the man. Many think he's a fraud. Many think he's dishonest, disingenuous. Many think he has ulterior motives. He's a greedy billionaire, blah, 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 blah. But I can tell you guys for a fact, you'd be surprised how much you can learn about a person, their character, their mindset, their values, and their philosophy by simply absorbing hundreds of hours of their public interviews, statements, etc. If there's one action step you take after watching this video, it's that you should consume everything that Elon Musk has ever said, if you want to understand Tesla. Now, this is no easy task and will take literally hundreds of hours, but it's worth the investment of time. Now, I had a distinct advantage in this department. I'm an OG internet user and a massive lifetime space fanboy. So I've been following SpaceX from the early days with their original unsuccessful launches. And when I heard about this crazy guy who'd made a bunch of money selling a company and then started a space company, I began stalking his every utterance. It's been close to, but not quite 2 decades. Every time a new interview comes out, even a short little quote, I consume it, learn a little bit more about the man, his mindsets, his values, and how he sees the world. Number 4, exponentials. And as an extension of that, compounding and declining cost curves. Now, I hate to break it to you, but when it comes to understanding exponential growth and compounding, you are a moron. I am a moron. Every single human being to ever live is a moron. Do you know why that is? Because our brains have not evolved in a world that commonly sees exponentials or compounding. We've evolved in a linear world. For example, there's a tiger over there. How many linear steps is it away from me? Am I far enough away that if it decides to run at me, I'm not going to become its lunch? It's only with the advent of technology and finance that we've even really begun to consider these concepts, but they matter so much, and this is what's really important. Human beings are incapable of intuitively understanding exponential growth, compounding, even cost curves. Our brains are simply not wired in an environment that allows us to understand these intuitively. This is why it's so important to take the time to intellectually understand these concepts, because intuitively it is simply not possible. People who've taken the time to intellectually understand exponential growth, compounding and declining cost curves, maybe they've heard some material from Rethink X, Tony Seba, Ray Kurzweil, Peter Diamandis, ARK Invest, those folks, and understand the implications here, not just going from their intuition, but actually looking at the numbers and understanding intellectually where things head in the future, have a clear picture of what the future looks like. These are the kind of people who have crazy, insane sounding projections for how quickly EVs will become 80+% of the global vehicle market. And you can also tell people that have absolutely no concept of these ideas, like some of the foolish investment firms and research houses out there, projecting a tiny fraction of global vehicles being electric at the end of this decade. These people aren't factoring in declining cost curves, Moore's law with every cumulative doubling of production driving costs down even further. They're not thinking about any of this stuff. I think Peter Diamandis explains this best.
Let's talk about exponentials. Now, I said, first of all, that we are linear thinkers. We all know that in 30 linear steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in 30 steps, I'm 30 meters away. If I've gone out my front door, I'm now across the street. And that ability to count linearly and to make a linear extrapolation is really intuitive. I mean, I can ask you, think about this wherever you're right now, say where you're going to be in 5 steps. And you can point and do the experiment and you'll be damn close to when you get there, when you pace it out. Or even in 20 steps, where will you be? Your brain extrapolates extremely well in a linear fashion. But if I said to you, where are you going to be in 30 exponential steps? Where an exponential is a simple doubling, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. And I said, where are you going to be in 30 doublings? If you take 30 paces here, in 30 doublings, you're not 30 meters away. In 30 doublings, you're 1 billion meters away. Put differently, you've gone around the planet 26 times. And that difference between 30 meters and 26 orbits of planet Earth is decimating to a Fortune 500 company that misses an exponential. And it's extraordinary to a startup who gets on top of and starts riding an exponential growth curve.
There's no way Tesla's ever going to make 20 million electric vehicles in a year. That's impossible. No company's ever grown like that. Come on, mate. Are you serious? No way. So the next time you hear somebody doubt that Tesla's ever going to come close to producing 20 million electric vehicles per year, you'll understand that you're talking to somebody who doesn't understand that they don't understand exponential growth. And the same is also true the next time you hear from somebody who claims that in the year 2030, internal combustion engine vehicles will make up a non-trivial amount of the global vehicle market. You'll also know you're talking to somebody who doesn't know what the actual fuck they are talking about. Now, this is not personal. As I mentioned, this stuff is not intuitive to understand, but it's quite evident when you think about the two most expensive components in electric vehicles. The battery and the computer are both on declining cost curves, and they're almost at price parity today with internal combustion engine vehicles. If you run the numbers forward, don't use your intuition, but use a calculator, you'll discover that these things are going to be far cheaper to purchase in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years time. And the most astonishing thing of all is there's CEOs of automotive companies today who still think they're going to be making ICE vehicles in 2030. What are these idiots doing? Number 5, engineering. Now I know that there's many nerds, autists, and a combination thereof watching this channel, so I think a few of you guys and girls, mostly guys, will intuitively understand how incredibly important it is to have a good grasp of engineering, including manufacturing, to truly understand Tesla. To keep this one short and simple, if there's large amounts of movement that occur in your nether regions every time you see an example of good engineering, you have a huge advantage in understanding Tesla. If you frothed at the mouth when you discovered the incredible engineering of the octovalve heat pump, if you had multiple nerdgasms when learning about Tesla's gigantic gigapress, you have a colossal advantage over the typical layperson when understanding Tesla. At their core, Tesla is an engineering company. Everything they do is engineering. At every level of the business, engineering comes first. Every truly great engineer on Earth has a good grasp of physics, an earlier point we mentioned in this video. And this is one of the core differences, I think one of the first places that a lot of investors saw potential in Tesla where others missed it. In fact, let me know in the comments below if you happen to be an engineering nerd, whether you work as an engineer or just appreciate great engineering. And I'd just like to give a special shout out to Sandy Munro, the automotive engineering expert of experts. I think we all owe Sandy a huge amount of gratitude for the incredible insights he's been able to provide into Tesla's incredible engineering. If you appreciate what Sandy Munro has done for the engineering nerds of the world in giving us insight into Tesla, let me know in the comments below. Number 6. Ooh, look at that callus. I think I should stop touching myself so much. Anyway, number 6, software. Now this is another form of engineering, but it's so important it deserves its own category. Maybe you've noticed that software is eating the world. It's dematerializing and democratizing all sorts of things. Do you remember back in the day, if you're old enough, you used to have a CD collection, maybe even a tape collection, or if you're old enough, a vinyl collection? What happened to that? That's right, software. Great software is literal magic. Software is one of those things that really flies under the radar, particularly with Tesla. I'm sorry I'm laughing. I'm just thinking about all those morons who called Tesla a car company or an automotive company and thought they were like GM or Ford, failing to understand the incredible importance of the software component. I'm not just talking about Tesla's in-car software, although that's very important. And I'm not just talking about the over-the-air software updates, by the way. In case you don't know, just for the few people watching that aren't aware of this, Tesla, through software updates alone, has literally increased range of their vehicles, increased acceleration of their vehicles, added new features, new functionality, and continues to improve their vehicles. But it's not just that stuff. It's also the things behind the scenes that we don't really think about, like their thermal management software within the vehicle that allows Tesla to extract incredible amounts of power from their batteries. It's also the software that's running huge portions of Tesla's factories, their manufacturing systems. The the software that's programming the robots in the factories. Tesla has even written their own enterprise software. And this is just the beginning. Of course, the most important component of all is Tesla's full self-driving software. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment. But I also just want to emphasize that once Tesla solves autonomy and their vehicles are able to drive users safely from point A to point B without any intervention, without any monitoring or supervision whatsoever, software is going to become an even larger piece of the puzzle. Infotainment, entertainment, productivity, communications, all software. There's a reason that the most recent iterations of Tesla's vehicles have screens in both the front and back of the vehicle. Tesla is laying the foundation for a tsunami of software revenue. Tesla is not a car company. They make computers on wheels. Those computers run on software. And as those computers become capable of driving themselves around safely from point A to point B, the software revenue floodgates will truly open. Most analysts out there today are completely asleep to this opportunity and to this fact. Their loss. Number 7. Artificial intelligence. And no, I'm not talking about the label for the intellectual faculties of most of the analysts covering Tesla stock. Think about that for a moment. I am, of course, referring to the thing that is going to eat the entire world in the future. Hopefully not literally. AI is going to change, disrupt, and transform every aspect of our daily lives in the coming decades. We're talking about multiple $1 trillion of disruption, market capitalization, and revenue in just the next decade or so. In particular, what I want to talk about here is, of course, Tesla's full self-driving. Tesla Vision is one of the world's leading artificial intelligence projects. How many analysts have you heard mention this? 0? I don't know. Please let me know in the comments below if a single analyst has actually talked about this in any detail whatsoever. I don't think any of them are aware of this. As Elon Musk has pointed out, solving real-world AI, real-world vision, pure vision, is one of the hardest AI challenges of the present. It's also one of the biggest market opportunities of all time. Remember we talked earlier about exponentials and how people don't intuitively understand them? This ties in very closely with Tesla's artificial intelligence efforts. Tesla's fleet is growing exponentially. Their data is growing exponentially. And this is why I've said repeatedly that no one is catching up to Tesla. 1, they're going to be the first company on Earth to solve generalized autonomy. And 2, no one is ever going to catch up to them. Tesla will always have a lead, always have superior technology, and always be in the number 1 position. It doesn't matter what anyone does from here. The single most important lens through which you should be able to look at Tesla if you truly want to understand what the company is going to do over the next 10, 20 plus years is the lens of artificial intelligence. In particular, you must have an intimate understanding of neural networks, deep learning, and how important data is. James Dowmer and Dave Lee have done some incredibly insightful interviews. I highly recommend you guys watch all of those if you haven't already. If, of course, you actually want to understand Tesla and what the future of the company looks like. And of course, Andrej Karpathy has done a number of talks, including Tesla presentations and a few presentations for third parties where he's gone into great detail. Part of having a comprehensive understanding of neural networks is actually having a pretty detailed understanding of the human brain, of neuroscience, how our own brains work. If you're not aware, neural networks are basically artificial brains. Now, I know this is a lot to take in, but I never said this was going to be easy, simple, or quick. I'm just here to tell you how to actually understand Tesla. In summary, you will never truly understand Tesla and the potential of this company unless you intimately understand Tesla's plans, their mission, their goals, what they're aiming for, physics, first principles thinking, a detailed understanding of how the universe works, how matter and energy interact. Yes, I'm serious. Elon Musk, the way he thinks, his values, his integrity, who he is, what he's aiming for, what drives the man, how he makes decisions, exponential growth, cost curves, compounding, engineering, including manufacturing, and software, and most important of all, artificial intelligence, including neural networks, deep learning, and the criticality of data to this process. I want to leave you guys with a little bit of food for thought. Tesla is a company that's ever evolving and going through multiple stages. Stage 1 was electric vehicles. Stage 2 is energy. We're just in the early days here. People still aren't thinking about virtual power plants, energy arbitrage. They're not even thinking about this yet. And this is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. We're going to hear a lot more about this in the coming years, maybe over the next decade. But stage 3 of Tesla is the most exciting and holds the most potential over the long term, artificial intelligence. I'm a very long-term investor. I think out 10, 20 plus years, and AI is the key to Tesla's future. Don't say I didn't warn you. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and also any other things that are critically important to know to truly understand Tesla. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card where you can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase. There's a link in the description. You can also earn up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, also linked below. And finally, don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and Stake, also linked in the description. These great offers also help out the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.